back to Mama Jess for my introduction. So today is our very first episode we're having with Madame Yaa Ashanteewa. And you'll all be excited. Just grab your seats, relax, a cup of tea or whatsoever. Every woman out there, just, in fact, before we start, I'd like to wish you all a happy International Women's Month. And having said that, Mama Ashanteewa is going to introduce herself beautifully. I'm sure you will love this session. Drop your take home, subscribe to this channel for subsequent episodes. Okay, ma'am? You're welcome.
Wow, beautiful viewers, what an amazing platform to be asked to speak on issues of ourselves and other women. I am Dr. Yaa Ashanteewa Ngidi, the director of the Institute of Afrikology. And I'm so excited that you came to visit me where we are. You know, instead of calling me to a studio, I think it's such a nice way to do it, you know, so that you can find us in our own place. So I'm really happy about this platform, and I'm really happy that you've really tuned in so that we can share and you can hear our views on the session. It's an exciting one, and happy International Women's Month to all our amazing women on the African continent and in the world.
Wow. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Wow, so let's hit the show. The topic for today is when women support women.
Yes, my dear.
Sit back, I told you, Mem is going to deliver. Welcome once again, Mom. We trust you that you do justice to this topic by God's grace. So we'll start by asking, there's often a statement that when women support women, incredible things happen. How true is the statement?
The statement is very true. Those of us who are older than most people will remember that we don't remember just being brought up by our own mothers. We were also surrounded by women who we didn't even know if they were our biological aunts. So we have seen how that happens in a community as children in our age group, the 40s, 50s age group. But what we have found also here in this part of Africa, you know, when women decide to move a mountain, we come from the tradition of Umbogodo, the rock. You strike a woman, you strike the rock. That statement is about women standing firm with each other to change the way how the apartheid government did things to women. So in my own life, I have seen that whatever I'm doing, if I don't call women to be a part of it, it won't multiply.
Absolutely, because women are called to multiply, and women are made to multiply.
Absolutely, that's what God has given us. God has blessed us with the mercy of being the multiplier.
Thank you, man, for that. Thank you. So let's go on to the next question. Why is it important for women to support women?
I like this question, sister, because you know I am of the belief that when women come together, great things happen. I'm also of the belief that no nation, no home can rise higher than itself without a woman. Absolutely. In fact, you cannot have a home where there's no woman. Then it's a house. So, you know, supporting each other mentally, spiritually, physically. You know, I sent something out the other day. I said, when a woman says, please, I need help, it takes a lot out of her to say to another woman, help me. Because women are used to being their own resourceful self. So when a woman reaches out and says, my sister, please, I need your help, don't take it lightly. And when we are given the chance to support each other, it's not something that we must take as a given. It is a privilege when women get together to go on a task of supporting each other. And for me, it's something that, you know, in running this institute even, I cannot even imagine a day where there wasn't a woman who was here to help me. You see, so for me, I really want to encourage women to get out of their way, help a woman that you don't even know. Because you never know when you are helping that woman, how many people's lives you are touching. Just by that one woman. And that is the essence of support. You know, I always think about Miriam, the sister of our great prophet Aaron. And and Miriam was there to help and to send the communication for Aaron. And people don't realize that without her work, the message wouldn't have been sent while they were in captivity.
That's true.
Miriam was the communicator. And so she used other women in the line of communication. So we have biblical reference of what happens when we support each other.
Wow.
We know this as a fact that it is our task to make sure that women not only get support, but we seek for ways to support each other.
Wow, thank you so much, man. I'm blown away. I'm sure you viewers are blown away too. And let's go on to the next question. What ideal ways women help to support each other? Suggestions?
The one way that I think women, other than praying not for ourselves but for another woman,
I love that.
that for me is a task that we must take on. When we get up in the morning, instead of praying for our own children, our own, we call the name of a woman we want to cover in our prayers. Because this thing of praying only for ourselves only, it's really not multiplying the way it should be. We must also find time to pray for others. So for me, praying for other women must be something we do naturally. Because women need strength and we are carrying a lot. So praying for each other is a first task. The second one is, you know, I like when women find a passion that they can do together. And in that passion, we identify each other's who is weak at this, who is strong at this. Because we can't be everything. And I believe that one of the ways that I encourage young women is to sit first and say, okay, Mrs. Chukuma, what are you good at? Mrs. Ngidi, what are you good at? Mrs. Banban, what are you good? So that we know what is it that we develop each other's strengths. Because when you are coming from your place of strength, you can give more. But when you are taking on a task where you know this is not my strength, then we can learn from each other. How are you doing this, Mrs. Chukwu? Can you teach me? So that this thing of jealousy that they say women have, we'll find the balance.
Let's go to the next question, which is where I'm going to now.
Okay.
This is where I'm heading to. We know that especially in the African setting, we have this issue of competition and you know, rivalry and jealousy and you know, bringing each other down. What are the likely causes of this and how could they be prevented? It's very important to discuss this because it's very prevailing in the society right now.
So I'm going to start with bad habits.
Okay.
Bad habits, because in our traditions, you know, we never had this thing of this is a girl's work and this is a boy's work. What we had was this is your responsibility. This is what you're accountable for. So those two words we used in African, there was nothing of only boys, only girls. We would call the boys and say, this is your responsibility today. This is your responsibility today. We'll see how you can account for what you're responsible for. If you have failed, then it means that you are not ready to do the work. Then we have to call your sisters and your other cousins to come and do it with you. This is the way we want to go back to. Because from very young, we have learned these habits that, no, when another woman is doing, we must try and outdo her, we must try and outdo. Yet some of us are born with natural skills. We are born with natural gifts. You know, some of us were born into homes where reading is something we do naturally. Other women, they have never even been told to sit and read a book. You get what I'm saying? So one of the things that we know that we must do is begin to re-understand the bad habits that was given to us as women and as children. I'm sorry.
And begin to adjust them.
And begin to align them and adjust them so that we deal with things from responsibility and accountability. Not because you're a boy, because you're a girl. In the corporate world, I want to go straight to that one. In the corporate world, my sister, again, we have learned corporate culture. And in those corporate culture, it was never meant for women to be there in the first place. We were never factored in. So it was men doing things with men, and the men would have their own way, because you know they have their own ways of doing their thing. We were never a part of that structure. It's now in the last 50 years that we have been saying, no, but we are just as good. Now the culture has to be redone. And that is why when a woman says she goes to the glass ceiling, so she can open so that we can all go up, it's a good concept, but we will never be satisfied that only one woman can be in a boardroom. We cannot be satisfied with that. We now know that we have the numbers. So when we are in these places of corporate culture, we must always be looking at where is my mentor? Where is that other younger? Because in the men, they compete in their own way. Okay. It's the way how they do it. We have now learned their way.
Oh, wow.
And as women, we don't look so nice when we are doing it their way.
Well, because I never saw men in that angle.
No, that's their thing. They compete. It's what they have been taught to do. So when we walk into these spaces, we now look and say, oh, this is how. But why would a woman want to now become like a man in the corporate world? When we come with intuition, when we come not only with our beauty, but we come with our style, we come with our understanding of justice, we come with our understanding of fairness. So for me, the question begs that we revisit how a woman does things. Because if we don't revisit that, then we're going to perpetuate this competitiveness, this puller down syndrome, which it can't give us any, it won't rise us if we keep pulling someone down. You get tired of pulling someone. You get tired. So ours is to push her up.
True.
Yeah, push her up. So that as we're pushing up, someone else is coming to push up. And that is the kind of mindset that I think, with all of what we've learned about competition and jealousy, we need to change the narrative.
True.
We need to look for opportunities to push her up.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And with that being said, I believe that you have so much to say about empowering women, because I can see you doing it here. By the way, I visited her institute and I've been blown away with the amazing things Mama Ashanteewa is doing in the lives of women in the district and society she found her institute. So please, ma'am, what can you say about empowering women and what impact it will make in the society?
I think, my sister, one of the most important things is that women must know that we are co-creators to the Almighty. We have been chosen to co-create, to carry life. These characteristics of carrying life mustn't leave us when we deliver these children. The characteristics of carrying life is that in everything that we do, whether we are cooking, whether we are making a salad, whether we are nurturing, whatever we do, we must reflect on what it is that we did when we carried our children. And I say that because, maybe not for the younger ones, but we have been trained to not just be nurturers, but to care about ourselves and our society. And that requires commitment. It requires consistency. You can't be one day, oh, I want to be a woman leader, but you can't even lead your own family.
It starts from the home.
It starts from the home. So your characteristics must be one that we find at home, and one that we find in the boardroom, one that we find on the pulpit, one that we find when you are in your different workplaces. We don't want women to be doing this thing where one day you know who they are, the next day
you're not sure.
We need consistency, my sister, exactly. And a lot of women need to work on this. The second thing that I'd like to say is we have to believe that we have what it takes to make a difference. And when you realize that you have what it is, it's not money that will make the difference. Money must come, but it is your conviction and your passion that will make the difference.
I believe you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So once you have those things, and people around you will see that you can't move Mrs. Chukuma from her vision, from her passion, then people will start saying, hey, I want to support this. So we have to believe that what our God-given, you know, there's a psalm called Psalms 139. Before I was born, you knew me. So whatever your passion is, it was already decreed.
Glory.
You can go wherever you want, but it was already done by the time you were conceived. Your passion will find you because there was an agreement with God.
Absolutely.
You see?
I'm excited about
So that is one of the things that I say to women. When you find your passion, know that it's not your brain that gave you this thing. It was your seed that was already planted. That you are going to be doing this. That you are. When I started this institute, I wasn't even meant to be working in the village. I was sitting in university at Ivory Towers. Then I said, no. How am I going to impact if I'm not living amongst the people? If I'm not living where I can impact the ones who matter, the children of the village, the source. You see, so we have to know that our thing is not about ego. It is about discernment and intuition. And in isiZulu we say, no maganjani. No maganjani, you can run all you want, but that seed was already planted. And I always say to women like yourself, ask your aunt, ask your mother, what were you like in your first 10 years? Because in your first 10 years, you've already showed them an indication of what you're planning to become.
Wow.
And in reflecting, you can go back and say, Mom, what was I saying I want to become? And if you haven't become that, but know what they say about you as a child, that will remind you how that seed was already planted.
Wow.
So when they see you doing something, they'll say, but we knew this was going to happen.
Absolutely.
Because we have seen this coming. Yeah. So these are some of the things that I encourage. Last one I want to say is affirmation.
Affirmation.
When we get up in the morning, I affirm 5 things about myself. I affirm first that I am a child of the living God. I affirm secondly that I am a good mother. I affirm that I am a great wife. I affirm that I am a great teacher. I affirm that I am a loving human being.
Awesome.
Those 5 things, because when you affirm it, you become it. So if you can affirm every morning 3 things, I'm amazing, that affirmation carries you through. Because whatever you have said, you become what you say. So affirmation in the morning spurs you into your day, but also the people around you. Because you can't say, I'm loving, yet the minute you get into your office, you start shouting at people. You can't say, no, I have to do this way. Whatever you affirm, you're affirming because you want to become it. So these are some of the ways that in my own personal life, you know, you saw my daughter here with me, my children, I make sure that whatever I'm affirming about my life, they can also experience it. They mustn't, when they come to my funeral, they say, was that my mother they're talking about? Yeah, well, so we just ask that you be consistent, you affirm yourself, but also you be gentle with yourself. Because as women, if we fail, we become so aggressive about failing.
Too hard
on ourselves. We must be gentle because we are teaching our children, we are teaching our daughters how to deal with failure. So them seeing us being resilient, seeing us being weak, but seeing us finding solutions must be deliberate. Because we are building a generation that's coming after us that must never make the mistakes we've made.
Absolutely.
Must never make it because we did not make ourselves deliberate teachers and example to our own household and to the community.
Man, you blown me away. In fact, you already answered the last question I was about to ask you. I was about to ask how women can make a difference in the generations to come, like changing the narratives of all of this, you know, bringing each other down and all of that. How could we change the narratives of our upcoming generation?
Our children, our boys, our girls especially must see women supporting each other. They must hear you saying, wow, I just met Mrs. Chukuma. What an amazing woman. Wow, what she's doing is so good. They mustn't hear saying, hey, that one, she thinks she's better than me. You know, we must change our narrative of the tongue. We must get excited about another woman's greatness. We must get, so that they must see it, that the language, whether we like that woman or not, but they must experience us saying, this woman, she really amazes me. Here is our next Oprah. You see, so they must hear people affirming you. They must hear people saying these things about us, so that they make it become part of their own way of interrogating other women, of supporting other women, of believing in other women's work.
Wow.
This is such an important part, because remember, children live what they learn, and children learn what they live.
Wow, if I think we have to play this and watch it again in case you're just watching for the first time. Make sure you play it. There's a lot of bombshells Madame Ashanteewa has dropped for us. Ma, thank you so much. We're really blessed to have you on the show.
I'm really grateful to be
Do you have
here.
any take home for the viewers, advice?
Well, I think the biggest advice that I think as African women that we have to do is not listen to the stereotypes and the language that we are not enough. We must believe that we are enough because this is the cradle of humankind. And because we are humankind, that kind, we must be kind to each other. Be deliberate in how your kindness spreads, because this is the one disease we need, the disease of kindness. We want people to be working on the medicine of kindness to each other. And also for this work that you're doing, giving more platforms in a very diverse way is what more women must do. We can't just say we are only looking after the girls. We must also look for ways to get the boys on our platform.
Absolutely.
Because we are mothers to boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Yes. So our platform must be fair. It must give equals. Because if not, we're going to be faced as a people with this issue of women only being on top and boys are struggling at the bottom. We want balance.
Absolutely.
We want balance. And so I say Psalms 139 is my psalm of action. Before I was born, you knew me. So we trust that whatever we do, it is God ordained, it is God inspired, it is God, practical. So when people see us, they don't have to ask if you are godly. It is in your action, it's in your language, it is in the way you express yourself. You won't have to tell anybody that, oh, I am a woman of God. They would say, hey, this one, you can see this one, she's of God. And that is what we are encouraging in shows like yours and in women. And in the Institute of Afrikology, we say, the logical study for Africans about ourselves for Africa.
About ourselves for Africa. Viewers, drop your take homes and wish Mama Ashanteewa a very nice thank you for this. Ma, we're happy.
Thank you so
we
much.
We appreciate you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, and I bless you for coming to the Institute.
Thank you so much. We will visit again.
Please.
Until then, viewers, see you next episode. Bye!